Welcome to the session. In this session, I am going to explain about the shell variables. Okay, so our topic is shell variables. Shell is also considered as a programming language like C language, Java language, Python language. Okay, so shell has its own programming capabilities. Okay, in order to write the programs, first we have to understand about shell variables. Okay, shell variables are classified into three types. Those are system variables, local variables, and read-only variables. Now I am going to explain these three types of variables with syntax and examples. So shell is a programming language. Okay, so shell has each and every language contains its own programming capabilities. Like the shell also contains its own capabilities. It can be considered as a programming language. Means we are going to write shell script. Okay, so rules for constructing a variable are similar to the rules for naming a file. Okay, means for example, if you want to declare a variable, the first letter should be character. Okay, followed by any letter or digit. Okay. The shell variables are classified into three types. Those are system variables, local variables, and read-only variables. Okay. So the first one is system variable. Okay, so the variables that are set during the booting time, means operation of feeding the computer with the operating system. Okay, the variables which are set either during booting time or login time are known as system variables. These variables are also known as environment variables. Okay, so these variables are also known as environment variables. Okay, why we are saying these variables are environment variables? The environment under which a user works entirely depends upon the values of these variables. Okay, that's why these system variables are also known as environment variables. These are set either during booting time, or booting time is the operation of feeding the computer with an operating system, or login time. These variables are set. Okay, so these variables are also known as environment variables. Why we are calling these variables are environment? Means the environment under which a user works entirely depends upon the values of these system variables. Okay, so these variables are also known as environment variables. Okay, these are similar to global variables. You have to understand clearly. Okay, which variables are called global variables, which type of variables are called environment variables, which type of variables are called system variables. All those are same. Okay, so system variables are also known as environment variables and global variables. Okay, so why you are calling this environment? The environment under which user works entirely depends upon these variables only. That's why these variables are also known as system variables or environment variables or global variables. There are so many types of system variables are available. Among those, I am going to discuss about the three variables. Those are path variable, home variable, and shell variable. Okay. So these variables are written using uppercase letters only. These variables are written using uppercase letters only. Observe these: path, shell, home. There are so many system variables are available. Among those, we are going to use these three. Okay, repeatedly we are going to use these three type of variables. Okay, the first one is path variables. All these are system variables only. Path variable, shell variable, and home variable. All these are system variables. Okay, these variables are set during the booting time or login time. Okay, so first one is path. In order to know the value of these variables, we have to use echo space dollar path. Okay, echo space dollar followed by the variable name. These variables are written using uppercase letters only. We can't write using lowercase letters. That is the point you have to remember here. These variables are written using uppercase letters only. Okay, so the path variable can hold the list of directories. Okay, Okay, these directories are maintained in a particular order. Okay, path variable contains a list of directories which are maintained in a particular order, and these directories are separated by colon. Okay, so these directories are separated by colon symbol. Okay, the value of the path variable can be known by using whenever there is a need for us to get the value of any variable, also we have to use the printf statement, just like echo statement, printf statement, just like in C language. Here we are using the echo statement because it works like a printf statement in the C language. Okay, so echo space dollar followed by variable name. We already know, for example, if we declare a variable a is equals to 10, whenever there is a need for us to get the value of variable a, value of a, at the time we have to get that value by using the dollar a. Okay, like that we are getting the value of a variable. Okay, by initialization we simply declare variable name is equals to value, whereas when we are getting the value of that variable, at the time we have to precede that variable by using the dollar symbol. Okay, so echo is just like a printf statement in C language. Echo followed by dollar path means it is going to display the value of path. Path contains what? A list of directories. All these directories are maintained in a particular order and separated by colon operator. Okay, if we specify echo space dollar path, it is going to display, for example, okay, USR, local, SBIN. We already discussed about what do you mean by bin and SBIN. Bin stands for binary files. Okay, we already discussed about all these in this unit only. Okay, in the second unit. We already discussed about all these in second unit while explaining about the file hierarchy. I explained all these USR, bin, temp, everything I explained. Okay, so bin stands for binary files, SBIN stands for system binary files. Okay, so it is going to display the list of directories which are maintained in a particular order and separated by colon operator. Separated by colon operator. So path contains what? A collection of directories which are maintained in a particular order and separated by colon operator. So path is also known as a system variable or environment variable or global variable. Okay, and the next one is home variable. Okay, when user logs in, means whenever we type username and password, at the time this variable is set. Okay, when user logs in, he or she will be automatically placed in the home directory. Okay, whenever user logs in, for example, if the user some FE 18 FE 1A0 some 501, whenever this person log in with username and password, automatically she will be placed in the home directory. Okay, this point you have to remember. Whenever user logs in, automatically he or she will be placed in the home directory. Okay, means this user account. Okay, so this directory is decided by whom? System administrator while creating the user account. Okay, so this directory is decided by whom? System administrator while creating the username and password, means while creating an account. Okay, all these values are to be stored in etc/password. Okay, etc/password. PASSWD stands for password. This also explained the second unit only. So all these are covered in second unit. Okay, the value of the path of the home directory is stored in a variable home. Okay, so the value of the path of the, here path means absolute path. The value we already discussed about the absolute path and the relative path also in the second unit. Okay, so the value of the path of the exact means we are taking the path from root to specific file, whereas if we take the path from current working directory to specific file, then that is known as relative path. We already discussed about these two, absolute path and relative path, in the previous sessions. Okay, so the value of the absolute path of the home directory is stored in a home variable. Okay, so the absolute path of the home directory is stored in a home variable. Okay, we can view the value of that home variable by using the home. Okay, so echo space, whenever there is need for us to print any message or any value, at that time we are going to use echo, because it works just like a printf statement in C language. Okay, so echo space $home. Whenever we are getting the value of any variable, at that time we have to precede that variable by using a dollar symbol. Okay, so echo space $home. Then it is going to print the value of a home variable. For example, here usr/mgv. This is the value of a home variable. Okay, this is also a system variable. Okay, and the last one is shell variable. Okay, this variable contains the name of the user's shell program. Okay, this variable contains the name of the user's shell program. This variable contains the name of the user's shell program. Okay, so the value of this variable can be known by using shell. Okay, so in order to view that value, echo space $shell. Okay, all these variables are to be written using uppercase letters only. Okay, so here we are using a bash shell. That's why it displays the output like this: /bin/bash, because we are using a bash shell only. Okay, so in order to view the value of a shell, we have to use the command echo space $shell. Shell can be written using uppercase letters only. Okay, so all these are the system variables, or environment variables, or global variables. Okay, these variables are set during the booting time. Booting means operation of feeding the system with an operating system. At the time these variables are set. Okay, examples of these system variables are path variable, home variable, and shell variable. Okay, these letters are written using uppercase letters only. Okay, and the next second type of variable is local variable. Okay, these are local to particular shell. The variables that are local to a particular shell are known as local variables. The variables that are particular to a local shell means those are known as local variables. Okay, so these variables are also known as user defined variables. Why you are saying these local variables as user defined variables? Because these variables are declared, defined and used by users only. That's why these variables are known as user defined variables. That is the main difference between system variable, local variable, and last one read only variable. System variables are set during the booting time. Okay, local variables are set by users. Okay, declared, defined, and used by users only. These are particular to a shell. Okay, that's why these variables, these are local to particular shell. This point you have to remember. These variables are local to particular shell, and these variables are declared, defined, and used by users only. That's why these variables are also known as user defined variable. Two terms you have to remember. Local variables are also known as user defined variables. Okay, so these variables are defined and used by users only. Okay, so here I initialized one variable, that is x is equals to 10. In order to view the value of x, echo space $x. Okay, in order to view with the message, echo space x value equal to $x. Okay, so these are declared, defined, and used by users only. That's why local variables are also known as user defined variables. These are local to particular shell. That's why these are known as local variables. These are defined by users, used by users. That's why these are known as user defined variables. You have to remember the two names. System variables are also known as global variables or environment variables. Local variables are also known as user defined variables. Okay, and the last type of variables are read only variables. Okay, if we declare any variable as read only, then we cannot modify the value of that variable. Okay, normally it works no problem. If we declare any variable, we can get the value of that variable at any time. We can increment the value of that variable, we can decrement the value of that variable, we can manipulate that variable. But whenever we declare any variable as read only, then we cannot manipulate or we cannot modify the value of that variable. That is the importance of a read only variable. We can read only, okay, we cannot modify the value of that variable, means we cannot increment and we cannot decrement the value of that variable. Just we can view the value of that variable only. Okay, this is the importance of a read only variable. Okay, so the variables whose values can only be read but cannot be manipulated. Observe, within the name only, read only variables means we cannot manipulate the value of that variable. Okay, so the variables whose values can only be read but not be manipulated. Okay, the value of those variables which can be read only but cannot be manipulated, those are known as read only variables. I am taking simple example program. For example, in order to create any file, what is the syntax? vi space filename dot sh. Okay, in order to create a file, the syntax is vi space filename dot sh. Okay, here I am giving a sample as file name for this program, vi space sample dot sh. Then it displays one editor. Within the editor, we have to write the entire code. Okay. Okay. Here I declare, here I took one variable that is x. Okay, echo enter x value. In runtime, I am going to give the value to x variable. Okay, in order to read that value of that x variable, the statement is read followed by variable name. Read followed by variable name. Here space. Read space variable name x. Okay, now I can view the value of that variable. In runtime, I will give the value to the x variable. Okay, that value will be stored in x. Okay, now I am getting the value of that variable by using the $x with the echo statement, because it works just like a printf statement in C language. Okay, echo space within quotations value of x is equals to, I am getting the value of this variable. Okay, that's why I have to precede that variable by using the dollar symbol. Okay, $x. Next, I declared this variable as read only. Okay, read only space x. There is no space between read and only. Complete word, single word. Read only is a single word. Read only space variable name. Okay, so now I am going to modify the value of this variable. Okay, here I declared this x variable as read only. Now I am going to modify the value of x variable. Okay, now I want to increment the value of x variable. Okay, x is equals to expr $x space plus space 1. Okay, next, here the value is incrementation step. This is okay. Now I am going to view the value of incremented variable, that is x. Okay, echo space value of x is equals to, echo space value of x is equals to, within quotations, next $x. Okay, observe clearly. For example, if this is the program and without this read only statement, it will display the output. Just observe, if we write the after completing the program, we have to save that file by using the escape shift colon WQ. Automatically the entire code will be saved. Then it is going to display the $prompt. Okay, now you are going to compile and execute this shell program. Okay, name is sample. So sh space, now to compile and execute a shell program, the syntax is sh space filename dot sh. Here the file name is sample. So sh space sample dot sh. Observe the print statement in the code. The first statement only, the print statement. It is echo space enter x value. Automatically it is going to display enter x value. Okay. Now I am going to enter 10. Okay. This 10 will be stored in variable x. Okay. Now I want to view the value of that variable x. Okay. So echo space value of x is equals to $x. So it is going to display value of x is equals to up to this. Okay. Okay. For example, if I didn't use this statement, x equal to expr $x plus 1 means x value will be incremented and 10 plus 1 is equals to 11. That 11 value will be stored in a x variable. Echo space value of x is equals to x, $x means I will get the value of x is equals to 11. Okay. If I didn't use this read only statement, okay, if I use this statement, okay, if I use this read only statement, first it will display enter x value. Okay, I entered 10. This 10 will be stored in variable x. This 10 will be stored in x. Next value of x is equals to 10 will be printed. Okay, now observe the next statement. Read only x means we cannot manipulate. Observe in which line it is available. Next statement is x is equals to expr $x plus 1. Next echo space value of x is equals to $x. It will show the error. In which line incremented x value? Observe. This is the first line, second line, third line, fourth line. After this, okay, there is no error. Okay, whereas in the fifth line, observe x is equals to expr space $x plus 1. Okay, once we declare any variable as read only, we cannot manipulate the value of that variables. Means we can't increment or decrement the value of that variable. Okay, so that's why it will show the error. Line 1, line 5, line 5. Okay, in line 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the fifth line. Okay, it will show the error. Okay, observe the output clearly because x is declared as read only. X is declared as read only. This is the output. sh space sample.sh enter x value is equals to 10. Value of x equal to 10 will be printed. Whereas in the fifth line, it will show the error like this. Line 5. X is a read only variable means we cannot modify the value of that variable, means we can't increment or decrement the value of x variable. Okay, this is about the third type, that is read only variable. Okay. So today we discussed about the shell variables. Okay. In order to perform any operation within the shell, first we need to understand the type of shell variables. Okay, shell is also a programming language. Means we are going to write the shell script by using different commands, syntaxes, everything. We can write the shell script. Okay. Shell variables are classified into three types. Those are system variables, local variables, and read-only variables. Okay, the first one is system variable, means the variables which are set either during booting time or login time are known as system variables. Okay, these system variables are also known as environment variables or global variables, because the environment under which user works entirely depends upon these values of these variables only. That's why these are known as environment variables. Okay, these are classified into so many types. Among those we discussed about path variable, home variable, and shell variable. We can view the values of these variables by using echo space $path. If you want to view the value of path variable, echo space $path. This contains the list of directories. All these directories are maintained in a particular order and separated by colon operator. We can view the value of path variable by using echo space $path. All these variables are written using uppercase letters only. Okay, by typing echo space $path, we can view the value of path variable. Okay, similarly, if you want to view the value of home variable, we have to specify the command echo space $home. Okay, whenever user logs in, he or she will be placed in the home directory. We can view the value of home variable by using echo space home. And the last one is shell. In order to view the present shell or current shell by using a dollar shell, we can be echo space dollar shell. Here we are using a bash shell, and it is going to display bin/bash. Okay, so this is the type of system variable. And the second one is local variables are user defined variables. Means these variables are local to a particular shell. Why these variables are known as user defined variables? Because all these variables are declared, defined and used by users only. That's why these are known as user defined variables. And the last one is read only variables. Means we cannot manipulate the value of these. Whenever we declare any variable as read only, then we cannot increment or decrement the value of these variables. That's why these are known as read only variables. So we discussed today these three types of variables. These three are the shell variables. Okay, thank you.